Frail old men of Reddit, where do you get your dope hats and jackets from? 20 years ago. They just haven't worn out yet. Seriously. I'm only just approaching 50 and I have clothes older than my teenagers that I'll keep wearing until they fall apart. I had no fashion awareness when I was a teenager, and I'm damned well not going to try and start now. This is one attitude I don't see changing between now and the grave. If it is unstained and still whole, I'll keep wearing it. My dorky fashion is vintage now. Daughter takes my stuff all the time. They come with your first social security check. I once complimented an older customer on his shirt and asked where he got it. He looked like he was going for youthful hipster look. He said he bought it in 1997 and the company is out of business now. From stealing the clothes off of the men older and frailer than me, while the younger generation steals my clothes. A never-ending fashion centipede. Thrift store. Poopin' tags bitches. Something broken keyboard. Poopin'. Tried poopin' in the thrift store. Got kicked out. Piece of shit, it was 99 cents. Not a frail old man, but for years, my teenage son wore a dead man's hat he got at a garage sale. It paired nicely with the trench coat he got after his grandfather died. Dead man's hat. Dead man's coat. Does he keep it in a dead man's chest? Yo ho ho. Not an old man, only turned 20 this year, but I grew up around a bunch of them this year. Most of them were vets from various wars. The older WW2 and Korea vets wore a lot of the old lambskin bombers jackets with the wool collars. And the Vietnam vets wore a lot of the M65 field jackets that were big in the 1990s. My great-uncle always wore his old Levi's jean jacket that I loved, and he got me one that is my most prized possession since he died. I wish I could wear jean jackets like I did when I was a kid in the 70s. Are you planning to steal my granddad's clothes? I'ma take your grandpa's style. No, for real? Ask your grandpa, can I have his hand-me-downs? Hey, get off my lawn. Standard issue AARP. From the old and frail shop. From the closet. Thrift stores. We pass them down to the next generation, becoming old men as we die out. Out of your ass, sunshine. You should ask this on our Ask Old People. I don't think they're on Reddit, but you can get them at thrift stores. From your parents' closet, since your mom bought it for your dad, who has terrible fashion taste and is a thankless bastard. I pick vintage from second-hand places such as the Salvation Army and Value Village or Inherit stuff. Plus, some of it's part of a collection we have amassed over the years. If the octogenarian at my childhood church was alive, Mont's at ACRUSHEDVELVT 3-piece suit that was unnecessary drip to say the least, but goddamn was he the coolest MF at Sunday service. Had a matching fucking trilby with gold trim, y'all. What is a dope hat? Early Marilyn Manson song. Thanks. In this context, dope is synonymous with dapper. I'm from the in-between generation, so I speak both languages. I love the green old man t-shirt De Niro wore in The Irishman. I can't find a thing like it anywhere. Only on old men. I wonder where all these old guys here in Philly get their members-only jackets? I actually have this answer. There's a weird vintage shop just up the street from Circle Thrift on Frankfurt. The place with the Homer statue outside. They've got so many. It's nuts. I don't think the guys who are hanging out all day in folding chairs at 8th and Tasker ever leave the neighborhood except to go to Sea Isle. Fishtown is like a world away. It's probably that place a man's image or Goldstein's. They bought them in the 1980s and just kept wearing them, monsieur. Dude, come on. They are for members only. It says it right there on the jacket. You have to be a member to know where to get the jacket. Gabagool. Since you know the secret password, your jacket will arrive in the mail in 2 to 3 weeks. I dated a guy my age, 30s, and he wore the old man garb. He got it when his grandpa died. He had the polyester jackets, the strange hats, and of course the sweater vests. He wore all of these things daily. Anyways, wait for an old person to die and then raid their closet. I'm 55. I wasn't aware that my hats and jackets were dope. I used to buy a lot of my clothes at Kmart and JCPenney. Now I go to Kohl's a lot. If I look dope, then the secret to being dope is not buying designer brands but getting cheap clothes when they are on sale. Not an old man, but I've tried to look into the history of fabrics and tailors with little luck. My understanding is that a lot of the older hats and jackets were handcrafted by local tailors in smaller shops. If you go to a thrift store and look at the inside of old sport coats, you'll see a patch with a mill where the fabric came from, and tailor weaved onto it. Actually tracking down those mills and tailors has been near impossible since most are out of business and have no presence online. From talking to the older generation, the hats and jackets were made in a similar fashion. From what I've seen, a lot of mills and tailor shops were either forced out of business or acquired by larger companies and forced to lower quality standards with little documentation online. The ones who stayed independent have become very expensive, and rightfully so. Just go down to the local haberdashery, young man. Cecil will be more than happy to give you a fitting. Maybe have a glass of sherry and an apricot tart while you wait. It's an heirloom hat that's been passed down to me from the 1800s. When my ancestor commissioned an African woman to weave it but then never paid her. That overpriced store called Gucci my grandson told me about. I'm pretty sure these dudes had great style back then, and these items aged well, made a resurgence into today's fashion scene. In short, these dudes had a timeless wardrobe. Honestly, we make them with hard work and sheer know-how. While your generation wastes their time watching the YouTubes, mine learned how to craft and maintain ourselves via hard work and systematically exploiting younger generations and/or minorities in foreign countries. Jack, we did the hard labor of exporting the factory jobs to foreign children and then complaining about it for decades in a dedicated way that you lazy brats would never manage with your short attention spans and your video games. Goodwill, Montgomery Wards before they went out of business. My grandfather gave me one of his jackets that he accidentally purchased in the wrong size. I'm gonna save it until I'm an old man. Brooks Brothers. I'm gonna need to see an example of exactly what the op is talking about. I'm 31 and my favorite coat is my dad's from the 70s. It's a knee-length gray herringbone. They come with the old man package. The same place that Beckman buys his clothes at. Sergeant Grit USMC Apparel and Memorabilia. At the Given Place. From the fallen, you gradually happen upon them. Caldor. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.